Campus Radio. Learn, live.
All right, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today we're here with the current chair of the USR, Marko Daraboš, and we're going to talk to him about the upcoming student elections, which are happening on the week between the 13th and the 17th of April, right?
Yeah, 16th and then 17th are the results.
Nice. Welcome, Marko.
Thank you. Another time here.
Another time. How does it feel to be chair?
Fine. Busy. It's still in the same spectrum as being in the USR. Just a bit more responsibilities.
A bit more challenging.
But it's fine.
And to our audience, can you explain them a little bit about what the USR is? Because a lot of people might not even know what it is.
So the USR is the Student Council. It's a participation body, and we make decisions with Workers' Council half of the time and half the time by ourselves. And it's mostly decision making on some university decisions. So stuff like examination and teaching regulations, the budget of food as well. So quite important decisions. And then usually you get a decision on your table saying we're doing this with the budget. And then the council says, well, in our view, we care about our students, therefore we think this could be done better.
Yeah, that's actually what I wanted to get into as well. What does the USR concretely do for students? Like, what are the actions that they're taking?
It does a lot, because if you come to campus and learn about, a lot of it has been made with our decisions, stuff from buildings, which we have 2-3 new buildings on the road over there, to stuff like cafeteria. So right now on our table we have the catering contract. That's also something we decided. And then, of course, through elections, you elect students who you feel represent you, and they will then make decisions on behalf of you. Therefore, it's quite important to understand who's competing and who you choose.
Yeah, and why is it important for students to vote even in these elections?
I think it's your democratic right. It's the same as in general elections. You vote for someone to represent you and try to make decisions to improve either your city or your surrounding. It's the same at food. You vote for students who try to improve the campus, the way our education is taught, and all other things that surround our university. So if you have an opinion or direction you like, and then you see a student who parallels it, then of course you're going to vote for them.
And can you tell us something about the parties that are competing in these elections? How many parties are there this year?
Well, to be honest, I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. I think I know for USR it's 3 parties, and then for the rest, I'm not quite sure, because the lists haven't gone fully public yet. And then for USR, I think it's going to be Change Vu, so it's the party which is the biggest one. It had 9 seats this year, and then we'll see how it goes this year. The Student Coalition, which is a new party, and Consensus, I think it's called. It's also a new one. I think, to be quite honest, you have to look yourself what the difference is, because I think for these 2 new parties, they still have to build and see what they're going to be working on. I think they have some basis, but we still have to see what that's going to look like.
Right. And can you explain a little better, like how the whole party system works with the elections?
Yeah. So it works different for the University Student Council and the Faculty Student Council. The university one, it works in a way that each candidate is their individual voting base. So each candidate gets votes, and then it's just a majority who gets in. However, we have seats. Each faculty has a capped seat in the USR. So if you have the most votes out of, for example, medicine, then you get the medicine seat. And if you don't, then you go to the popular seat. And then out of those popular seats, the majority gets in it. And then for the FSR, it's a bit more complicated, but it's the same as the Dutch. So now we have the gemeente elections. It's the same thing. You have lists, and then you also have personal votes.
Preference?
Yeah, you have preference votes. So you vote for a person on the list, and the votes go to the list. And then, of course, if the person with the preference votes crosses the threshold, then they go over on the first place. So that's the system. You as a student have usually two voting options for both the university and faculty student council. This year, some faculty student councils had enough or less people than they should have, so maybe there won't be elections for you. But nevertheless, it matters because things that happen on the university level are a bit different from faculty level. Faculty level is more close to what your day-to-day education looks like, and the university is more general. So vote for both.
So over the last few years, the turnout has not been extremely high. Why do you think some students choose not to vote? Or do you think students don't know about it even? Or is it like a matter of not being interested?
I think it's both aware and interest. I think it's mostly awareness. I think a lot of people don't know that the council exists, and that when the election comes, it becomes one of the many mails you get in your Outlook or in your mail. So you probably skip it over. So the year before, so 2 years ago, we had 14%, and this year we have 22%. So it is increasing in a way. However, 22% is quite low, especially if you want to have a fair representation. And I think, as we said, it comes down to awareness. And that's what we're trying to improve, of course. We try to promote it as much as possible, both on campus and online. But we'll see how it goes this year. And of course, we would like to have 100, but that's not possible. But any higher percentage is better, just so you get more votes in. And as we said, I think it matters for students to also know who represents them and that their vote matters.
And what would you say to students who might not care about the elections or who may say uni politics, that's boring?
I think it's a shame because I haven't seen a student who didn't have some kind of a problem at the university, and the council exists to try to solve these issues. And that's why I think it matters to also vote, and one vote matters a lot. We also see in the FSR elections that things can change a lot just because of one vote. And I think it's in any general elections as well. You should vote because it's a shame if you don't.
Oh yeah. How much time does it actually take to vote?
How much time does it take to vote? Yeah. Really quickly. You click on the link. You get probably automatically logged in by VU. If not, you log into your VUNet ID. You click vote. You choose the candidate. So it takes 1 minute tops, quite quickly. And I don't see a reason why you couldn't do it.
All right. And just to give students a little bit of an insight about how important it is to vote and what the USR actually does for the students. Can you take us through your most the achievement that you're most proud of?
I think what we're most proud of is last year when there were budget cuts, and there were some budget cuts intended to cut support staff and also in domains of academic advisors and other support such as psychologists, and we saw that finances there could be cut, and we protested against it because, well, we think that matters. I think having support for your students when it goes bad especially matters, and if there are some kind of budget cuts, that type of thing should be cut. And in the end, it worked out because we have in those domains the FTE staying, which is quite a good success for us because in the times when it was the hardest, the student representation still mattered.
And on the matter of representation, do you see a big difference in the amount of Dutch students who vote and international students who vote?
I think we see a big difference in candidates. We see there's sometimes 50-50 and sometimes higher international, even though we're a university where I think it's around 10-ish% that's international. So I think definitely we would love to have higher Dutch representativeness. But nevertheless, that also reflects on the votes as well. We don't really have an overview of who voted what or who is international, who Dutch when they vote, but that's what I can base it on. But it's again a shame because the university is for everyone, and I think voting matters.
Yeah, and when you actually run for USR, what experience does that bring?
I think it brings a lot of experiences. During campaigning, you have to go outside of your box and go talk to people who you don't know and try to convince them, hey, I'm the right person to vote for. So I think it definitely teaches you how to present yourself and how to communicate your vision. And then when you get into the council, you have to actually make this vision implemented. And there is more on decision making and how you communicate decisions and negotiate. You negotiate with the executive board, with their services. maybe other student councils, who knows. And through that, you see also how bureaucracy works, for example, because if you later in life, you're going to work in some type of organization, this is amazing because you get to see through your work how the decisions get implemented. Even more so if you have an opinion or a matter you're campaigning on, you get elected and you get this implemented, it's your baby, and you look at it so like you're precious because you did something at the university. You have something to show, hey, this is what I did. And so I think many great experiences.
And how would you say, like, how is it to work with like the bureaucracy of the university?
Tough. I think we're a big structure, and there's a lot of decisions made essentially and decentrally. And when you combine those, it's sometimes quite hard, especially for us as students. You have a 1-year term, and throughout the 1-year term, you have to learn the organization and then try to implement something, even though some of these employees have been here for 20 plus years. So of course they understand a lot better than you, but you get proper support. You get advisor secretary as well, who's been here, who can advise you how to do this. You get trained for this type of things. So you do have support, but it's tough. But what matters the most is will. If you have will to change something, that you will get to know how to do it. And if it matters to you, if it matters to your student community, then it will go like this.
All right, thank you. Yeah, what would be your final message that you want to give away to students?
Both. Both. My final message is that it's good to be aware of what's happening around you. You don't have to know all the details, but I think voting is the least of what you can do. Again, it takes only 1 minute. You go on your Outlook, you scroll and you select the candidates, and it helps a lot because we try to help you a lot.
All right, Marko Daraboš, thank you so much for sitting down with
Yellow
us
bar.
and
Thank you.
explaining a little bit about the USR.
VU Campus Radio. Learn, live, listen. VU Campus Radio.